very much. What a wonderful Washington County welcome. Thank you so much. How about another round of applause for Senator Chris Shank? I want to also, you have some fantastic people representing you here. You have some great elected officials representing you. I wish every county could be like Washington County. You also have some great candidates that with our help, with all of us working together, they're going to get elected. So please, a round of applause for all the people that were introduced, all the candidates, all of your great elected officials. And one in particular I want to give a shout out to. I'm going to be so proud. A week before I get sworn in as governor, I'm going to be down in Washington to swear in this great Congressman, Dan Bongino. Liz Jones and the Central Committee and everybody who had anything to do with putting this great rally together. How about a round of applause for everybody who worked so hard tonight? Thank you. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, just want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here on a Saturday night to be with us. It means a lot to me. And I don't think I got a chance to meet every single one of you yet, as Chris said, but I plan to before I leave if I haven't gotten a chance to. So thank you for being here. We started our morning about 6 a.m. this morning when we left Annapolis. We've been traversing across the state. We were out in Garrett County today for Autumn Glory Festival. Not a lot of times that you see Governor O'Malley and Lieutenant Governor Brown out in Garrett County and Allegheny County, but we've been out there 5 times. We were happy to be there. We had a great fundraiser in Hagerstown just a little while ago, and we're kind of wrapping up our Western Maryland swing, at least for tonight, here with all of you folks. So thank you very much for being here. I'm not a professional politician, folks. I'm just a small businessman and a lifelong Marylander who loves this state. And I was completely fed up with politics as usual in Washington. And I was concerned that our state was way off track and heading in the wrong direction. And rather than just sit back and complain about it, I decided to try to step up and do something about it. And I believe that we simply cannot afford another 4 years of O'Malley Brown tax and spend politics as usual. Our state, as you know, is way off track, and there are a lot of people out there suffering. We've had a terrible situation over the past 8 years. When I was a cabinet secretary for Bob Ehrlich, I left my business to do that for 4 years. We had $1 billion cash surplus in the bank when we left 8 years ago. State was in the best fiscal shape it's been in decades. Here we are 8 years later, and by any objective measure, Maryland is far worse off than ever before. We've increased spending by $10 billion, by 36%. That's more increase than 46 other states. Only 3 states in the country increased spending the way Maryland did. And in order to pay for it all, they pushed 40 consecutive tax hikes that have taken an additional $10 billion out of the pockets of struggling Maryland families and small businesses. It's crushed our economy. We've lost 8,688 small businesses here in Maryland. Unemployment has doubled. We've lost 200,000 jobs. We're number 3 in the nation in foreclosures. We've had 0 economic growth. And sadly, in spite of the many wonderful advantages we have here in Maryland, our state economy ranks 49th out of 50 states. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you're a Republican in Washington County or you're a Democrat in Baltimore City. That should simply be unacceptable to every single Marylander. Enough is enough. It's time for a change. Now, my running mate, Boyd Rutherford, and I, we have a different plan. We want to put Maryland on a new path. Our priorities are jobs, struggling Maryland families, and restoring our economy. And our plan is to go into Annapolis. First of all, on day 1, we're going to get to work on cleaning up the mess in Annapolis. Then we're going to try to get the government off your back and out of your pockets so we can grow the private sector, put people back to work, and turn our economy around. That sounds good? Now, folks, everywhere in the state is not like Washington County, right? It's a tough state. And a lot of people didn't believe that a Republican could actually win. And I got to tell you, even some of my closest friends, when I decided to run, thought I was completely crazy. And they said, you know, how in the heck are you ever going to make a difference in Maryland? But you know what? I've been traveling from one end of the state to the other every single day. We work 15 hours a day, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're talking with people from all walks of life. And I can tell you that a majority of Marylanders, regardless of their party affiliation, do want to see a change of direction in our state. And they are going to vote for a change in 24 days. We've had, one of the things that makes me the saddest, and I was talking with a couple of folks about this earlier, we've had the largest mass exodus of taxpayers fleeing our state, of any state in the Mid-Atlantic region, and one of the worst in the entire nation. 31,000 Marylanders have voted with their feet and headed for the exits. They've taken with them $1.7 billion a year out of our economy. And as Chris said just a little while ago, a recent Gallup poll said nearly half of all Marylanders, 47%, want to leave the state. As a lifelong Marylander that loves it, that breaks my heart. We can't continue like that. I talk to people every day who say, I'm a lifelong Marylander. I love it here. I love the state. I don't want to leave my kids and my grandkids, but I can't afford to stay here on a fixed income. We're going to try to do something about that. We're going to cut taxes on retirement income and pensions, and we're going to try to keep it in the state. Does that sound like a good idea? Well, folks, so we got in this race, and we've been working hard, and gradually and slowly things started to change. People started to say, you know, we just can't take it anymore. Every day I meet Democrats who say, and this is in all parts of the state, black and white, rich and poor, inner city, suburbs, rural areas, doesn't matter. People say to me, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but we just can't take it anymore. You know, somebody has to do something about this. I talk to people who say, I've never voted for a Republican in my life, but I'm voting for you in November. And I think the folks that are fed up and frustrated with the direction of our state, they're going to come out to the polls. You know, Chris said, get your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers and your whole family and get them out there. Washington County can make a difference. Some people say, what are you doing out in Western Maryland? You're going to win all those counties anyway. Well, we don't need to just win. We need to get every single vote we can. So it's really important to get turnout out there. We're going to drive out some big numbers and help elect all these great Republicans. Every one of them. So here's some good news. Even some people you would never expect to say nice things about us are talking about us now. I don't watch a lot of NBC or MSNBC. You don't either, probably, right? But there's this guy, Chuck Todd, who's the chief political correspondent for NBC. And last week he said, in deep blue Maryland, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown is really struggling. He's unable to put this guy Hogan away, and that looks like a toss-up race in Maryland. The one you do watch is probably Fox, and Dana Marino gave us a great shout out on the 5 yesterday. She said, here's my, when they, at the end of the 5, or they give one more thing, my one thing is, watch Maryland. Larry Hogan's within 1 point, that's going to be great. And here's an even crazier one. Last night, my friend Bob Ehrlich, for whatever reason, agreed to be on Hardball with Chris Matthews. He was the token Republican, I guess. And Bob gave a nice shout out to me, and he said, Chris, you really got to keep an eye on Maryland. Larry Hogan is closing fast. And Chris Matthews said, I agree. I think that's a tough, close race. Chris Matthews, how's that sound? People are starting to believe. Even the other guys are starting to believe. Now, my opponent, as Chris said, he has run what has been called the nastiest, most dishonest campaign in the entire country. They've spent about $4 million over the past 6 or 7 weeks with 8 of the most horrible attack ads imaginable. Even liberal Democrats are criticizing them. The Baltimore Sun had a headline that said, Anthony Brown's campaign is shady and desperate. This is the Baltimore Sun. Okay? So they run these terrible attack ads. He went to the Democratic Governors Association and said, I need your help because we're in real trouble. They've come in and put another $1.2 million into his campaign. We've been outspent by $13 million in a 2-to-1 Democrat to Republican state. He's got the powers of incumbency. And we've survived the barrage of all those attacks because people don't believe them. And they don't like those negative ads. And Anthony Brown's numbers have come down and ours have gone up. So here's some real news for you. We've got poll numbers that just came in that say for the first time since November of 2002, when my friend Bob Ehrlich was elected, we are in a statistical tie, dead heat for the race for governor. We're going to win this race. So, folks, I can guarantee you that I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can. I've never stopped since we got in this race. You know, I care deeply about this state. I'm going to leave it all on the field. You're never going to question whether I put the effort in. And I promise you, for the next 24 days, I'm going to continue to do that. We're not going to sleep much. But I cannot do it without your help. It really takes every single person in this race, in this room, to help us win this race. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's the people here tonight that really can and will make the difference. I thank you so much for being here. With your help, with all of us working together as hard as we can, we have 12 days until the early voting starts. We have 24 days until the election. It's hard to imagine. With all of us doing everything we can and working together with these great candidates you have here tonight, I believe that we are going to send a loud and clear message to those politicians in Annapolis on November 4, and then together with Washington County, we're going to do a great job and change Maryland for the better over the next 4 years. So thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.